Hello, I'm Sini Virtanen and I'm the violinist in Strings and Hammers. And today I'm joined by the Finnish composer Jarkko Hartikainen, who wrote the wonderful piece ICE Concerto for the McCormick Percussion Group and myself. So Jarkko, I would like to ask about the title, the meaning of the title.
Well, it refers to this piece, but let me go a bit back before talking about the title, because actually the story of this piece it actually was a little bit born even before I knew that I would write it and a little bit commission it. I was writing an orchestra piece called Habitus, and I was creating material for it, for this specific passage where the orchestra was supposed to be lungs. So it was kind of expanding and compressing like this. And while I was creating this material, I didn't know how much I would need. So I was just like, let's just create a lot of it. And I had this process and let's just push it to the end and see what happens. And it was kind of a procrastination effort a little bit. And also curiosity, it's kind of musical research. And I ended up with this material that actually my chords, compressed, they turn out into these scales, these weird scales that were semi-diatonic with microtonality in it. And I started with the natural spectrum. So I just really, what are these weird scales? And I just thought that, well, I'm not writing a violin concerto. I'm not going to need this material. The orchestra piece is more about massive and stuff, so I don't need scales or anything. So, okay. But I was thinking about a violin concerto. I was playing through those scales and thinking about this kind of, that they are somehow cool and clear. Somehow there's this weird, cool clearness in these scales. So when you a little bit later, like a year later, you asked me if I would like to write a violin concert. Yeah, I have the material ready, and I had kind of the concept already in my mind. And when you said percussion ensemble, I was like, yeah, that fits perfectly with the kind of cool, clear image I had because of the sound of those instruments. So I had it.
That's wonderful.
So when titling the piece, of course, it's in all caps, which opens up to even more, I guess, interpretations of the title. And of course, it can mean more things than just, what do you call it, water from backstage, or ice. And it was my first U.S. commission, and during this administration, of course, we know now what the Immigration and Customs Enforcement are doing to foreign students and all this crazy stuff. And also ICE means a lot. In your phone, it's in case of emergency contact. And
right.
And for this piece in general, for me, it was something I wanted to write something a little bit different. I wanted to have something fast and fun because I had just written this orchestra piece and another piece that was very concept heavy. So I wanted to just write music, basically, just to kind of to show that I can just kind of mess with my critics and just to offer myself a little relief. I wanted to do something different, and I had this material and this image in my mind, so I had to write it.
So, talking about the instrumentation, had you written before for a percussion ensemble or for extensively for percussion?
No, actually, I think currently, after delving into like string instruments and woodwinds and brass, I think percussion is actually my weak spot. So it's nice to be recorded already. But of course, I've written orchestral percussion, and this percussion ensemble is kind of on like extended orchestra percussion. But I think I'm not as accomplished as I would like to be with percussion. So actually, a lot of I guess if you like this piece and how it sounds, I think the McCormick Percussion Group, they did a really good job on the sounds and everything and the balance. I guess the challenge with this piece was to have enough things to play for people without covering you, the soloist. So I'm actually going to write solo pieces for percussion, actually 2 of them, very different kind of projects. So I'm a little kind of nervous about percussion. But for some reason, this piece came somehow naturally because I had this image of somehow the violin surrounded in this icy cave or something, this kind of coolness. So I just thought that the percussion is kind of the acoustics of this ice entity or something. Somehow this ice and crystals, and light is somehow sparkling. So this kind of the percussion is the acoustics or the surroundings or the frosting, if you want, of the violin.
So we had collaborated together several years ago while we were still undergrad students, and I'm wondering, did you remember about it, or did it have any kind of effect on your writing to this piece?
Of course, I think everything that I know affects me, and I have experienced, and it's not very it's very memorable experience to go on a kind of school trip to Japan,
right?
2 weeks to Kyoto. So of course I remembered, and having a piece performed there, and so you were the concert master, right? In that one, yes. Kind of the Finnish string quartet that I met on the plane over there, basically, were serving as the principal players for all the string parts. It was a memorable experience, of course, a kind of early experience for me as a composer, to having completely kind of new people and kind of acting as a composer in rehearsal. All that was very new to me at the time, but of course it was also very memorable. So I knew you as a very kind of a, how to say, we didn't have any difficulties. So I was thinking that you are the kind of a player that will just be ready in the rehearsal. So it's weird to talk about it, but somehow I can. If I have these weird scales, you will play them. You will practice them, and it will be perfect. So I can push you this. For some other maybe more temperamental player, kind of a little bit more diva, I would have thought about it, and it's like, okay, Cindy will do it, and she will do a great job.